A crude oil crisis is going on in the world. Man has squeezed all the fuel and natural resources available from the earth, and today the whole world is facing an energy crisis. Because Russia is a major crude oil exporter in the world on a daily basis, and since the Ukraine-Russia conflict began, Russia has stopped providing fuel. Due to this, there has been a huge jump in the price of fuel. Now, due to this, there is an outcry in the world. To reduce its cost, many countries have bought coal. The production of oil has increased, but because of this, there is a lot of difference in the environment due to climate change because we are clearly harming the earth. Research is being done on how to increase the amount of energy obtained from it. It is said that fossil fuels can be reduced on the international market by using green energy, and Iceland has done this in front of the world. And our country, India, is also rapidly increasing its stature in this direction. Today, the whole world is trying to follow the example of India and Iceland regarding renewable energy. But is it possible that we can depend on renewable energy, leaving all other national resources behind? Let us first know that renewable energy. What is renewable energy? In a way, it is an energy that never ends, whose source is never going to end, and if we look at it from the point of view of our earth, the energy that the sun continuously provides to us, as well as the energy that the sun emits when it reaches the ground, can then be used to directly generate electricity or to raise the temperature. It is not told that today only 1/10 of the power generation of the whole world is obtained from solar and wind, and right now it is the biggest source of renewable energy in the world. There is hydropower, in which electricity is generated from water, and that water is used again and again to generate electricity. If we talk about wind energy, then through wind energy and solar energy, electricity can be generated for about 1.5 years. And with time it is getting better and cheaper. The requirement has been met. As technology advances, the ability of solar and wind energy to contribute to total production grows. And it is increasing because people are adopting it because it is economical. It is important to be able to do this because now we use solar panels, but how do we use this energy to generate electricity at night? For this, we should have a system that is automatic and will be able to decide that electricity from renewable sources. It was discovered that it could be used to collect electricity. Today, batteries are used to save the energy of solar panels. However, we do not currently have the capacity to store much energy, which is the most significant barrier to making renewable energy common. One problem with renewable energy is that solar panels, hydroelectric plants, and wind turbines can be placed where they work best, while fossil fuels can be burned wherever they are needed to get energy. A fuel-driven car fills up very quickly. But the speed of collecting the sun's energy through solar panels is very slow, and it is more important to work on it. According to IEA, International Energy Agency, research says that between the years 2020 and 2026, the world's total renewable energy production will increase. The capacity will increase by more than 60%. Now it may take time to prepare the infrastructure according to the recruitment demand, but what has been great in recent times is that it took many decades to take the wires connected to it out of cities and villages. So we have to understand that it may take the audience time to change the default layout to take renewable energy to the same level, but the advantage here is that the method of producing renewable energy is much cheaper as compared to coal and gas plants. However, because the entire world is dependent on energy, it will have to work on a large scale, and working on such a large scale will require money. It becomes difficult to decide who will invest money in it. Because the government also invests money from the budget somewhere, but it is not that no country has made it possible. Today, Iceland is its biggest example. What is the model? Let us tell you that Iceland is a small country. It has a population of about 3 lakh people, but nature has bestowed some special gifts on this country. The 10th part of Iceland is covered with glaciers, and this country rests on the border of 2 tectonic plates. In such a situation, the heat reaches the earth because of this. There are hundreds of large volcanoes and hot springs here. But despite all these troubles, today Iceland has become an example of renewable energy for the whole world. The Director General of Iceland's National Energy Authority says that if you invest in the right infrastructure, and if it is a renewable and green structure, then people may not know its benefits in a day or 2 or a few years, but this is a structure that can be helpful for decades. In fact, Iceland has been around for a long time. Iceland only uses its natural resources in a responsible and limited manner, and since 1908, Iceland has been obtaining heat from hot water springs to keep its houses warm. It was started by a farmer who claims that in 1928, a municipal effort was made to help avoid the cold, and as a result, hospitals and major school buildings were heated with geothermal power. In the 1960s, financial strength was provided in the capital of Iceland, and this technique proved to be very suitable for using heaters. Today in Iceland, there are 9 out of 10 houses are heated with geothermal energy, and because of geothermal energy in the winter, hot water also reaches the houses through pipes, but this is only one way, while the energy of Iceland's hot masses is used in other places as well. In fact, the good thing with geothermal energy is that you can use it to generate electricity and also in food production. If we talk about India, India's announcement that it aims to reach net zero emissions by 2070 and to meet 50% of its electricity requirements from renewable energy sources by 2030 is a hugely significant moment for the global fight against climate change. India is pioneering a new model of economic development that could avoid the carbon-intensive approaches that many countries have pursued in the past, and provide a blueprint for other developing economies. The scale of transformation in India is stunning. Its economic growth has been among the highest in the world over the past 2 decades, lifting of millions of people out of poverty. Coal and oil have so far served as bedrocks of India's industrial growth and modernization, giving a rising number of Indian people access to modern energy services. This includes adding new electricity connections for 50 million citizens each year over the past decade. The rapid growth in fossil energy consumption has also meant India's annual CO2 emissions have risen to become the third highest in the world. However, India's CO2 emissions per person put it near the bottom of the world's emitters, and they are lower still if you consider historical emissions per person. The same is true of energy consumption. The average household in India consumes a tenth as much electricity as the average household in the United States. India's sheer size and its huge scope for growth means that its energy demand is set to grow by more than that of any other country in the coming decades. In a pathway to net zero emissions by 2070, we estimate that most of the growth in energy demand this decade would already have to be met with low-carbon energy sources. It therefore makes sense that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced more ambitious targets for 2030, including installing 500 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity, reducing the emissions intensity of its economy by 45%, and reducing 1 billion tons of Colorado too.
क्लाइमेट चेंज पर इस वैश्विक मंथन के बीच मैं भारत की ओर से इस चुनौती से निपटने के लिए 5 अमृत तत्व रखना चाहता हूं, पंचामृत की सौगात देना चाहता हूं। पहला, भारत 2030 तक अपनी नॉन फॉसिल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी को 500 गीगावाट तक पहुंचाएगा। दूसरा, भारत 2030 तक अपनी 50% एनर्जी रिक्वायरमेंट्स रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी से पूरी करेगा। तीसरा, भारत अब से लेकर 2030 तक के कुल प्रोजेक्टेड कार्बन एमिशन में 1 बिलियन टन की कमी करेगा। चौथा, 2030 तक भारत अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था की कार्बन इंटेंसिटी को 45% से भी कम करेगा। और पांचवा, वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा। ये पंचामृत क्लाइमेट एक्शन में भारत का एक अभूतपूर्व योगदान होंगे।
The Finance Minister has announced a budgetary allocation for pre-2023-2024 of 10,222 crore rupees to the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE, which is a 45% hike from the 7,033 crore rupees expected to be spent this fiscal year. The Finance Minister also highlighted the National Green Hydrogen Mission with an outlay of 19,000 crore rupees to help achieve an annual production target of 5 MMT by 2030 for facilitating the net zero target.
The recently launched National Green Hydrogen Mission, with an outlay of 19,700 crores, will facilitate transition of the economy to low carbon intensity, reduce dependence on fossil fuel imports, and make the country assume technology and market leadership in this sunrise sector. Our target is to reach an annual production of 5 MMT by 2030.
These targets are formidable, but the good news is that the clean energy transition in India is already well underway. It has overachieved its commitment made at COP21 Paris Summit by already meeting 40% of its power capacity from non-fossil fuels almost 9 years ahead of its commitment, and the share of solar and wind in India's energy mix have grown phenomenally. Owing to technological developments, steady policy support, and the vibrant private sector, solar power plants are cheaper to build than coal ones. Renewable electricity is growing at a faster rate in India than any other major economy, with new capacity additions on track to double by 2026. The country is also one of the world's largest producers of modern bioenergy and has big ambitions to scale up its use across the economy. The IEA expects India to overtake Canada and China in the next few years to become the third largest ethanol market worldwide after the United States and Brazil. India could easily create 5 million ton green hydrogen demand, thereby replacing grey hydrogen in the refineries and fertilizer sector. This 5 million tons will result in abatement of 28 million tons of Colorado too. This proportion will grow as we fructify green hydrogen economy and will result in 400 million tons of CO2 abatement by 2050. As a large developing economy with over 1.3 billion people, India's climate adaptation and mitigation ambitions are not just transformational for India but for the entire planet. NITI Aayog and IEA are committed to work together to enable India to grow, industrialize and provide a better quality of life to its citizens without the need to carbonize. Overall, India's commitment to renewable energy, combined with its abundant resources and government initiatives, which makes India a leader in the renewable energy sector. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.